I'm Suzanne and I nerd out over art supplies. And sometimes that's a problem. This is not the video I planned this week. Last week, I had to take my daughters to San Antonio for a function. We'd be staying in a pretty location where I'd have a little free time, so I planned to film myself painting on plein air. Normally, I would just throw my travel kit in my backpack. Only I disassembled my travel kit several weeks earlier for a different video. But no big deal, just put it back together, right? Well, it was after 11 p.m. and we were leaving the next morning. I started gathering the usual items, but I'm tired. And when I'm tired, I find decisions very stressful. Like how many brushes I need. I mean, really, how can I even choose before I choose what paper I'm taking? And surely some of my new colored pencils would be better than this weird collection of neons and pastel pencils. And come to think of it, I haven't updated this little travel watercolor palette in years. There are 3 nearly identical blues and 4 reds I never use. I realize I'm gonna have to start over, but there's no time. So fine, I'll just take my tube paint master palette. But I've got a bunch of new paints that may or may not be in the master palette that I'd really like to have. Wait, some of these are gouache. Let's put those away first. This is my watercolor tube collection, and here are my newish paints. Except there's more gouache, but oh well. Okay, now I've got to check and see if there are any duplicates. And this is when I realize I can't find my master palette swatch card. It's now past midnight, and I only have it in me to make one more decision. I choose to pack the travel palette and the master palette and all the paints and my new colored pencils and a block of good paper so I can swatch them all during the trip. Once at our destination, I got as far as swatching and reorganizing the greens when something shifted. Here's the thing, I am totally comfortable drawing and painting in public. I live in a region where it's totally normal for strangers to strike up polite conversation, and people at this hotel were also very curious and kind as I sat painting right in the middle of everything. Filming, however, got awkward. On the second afternoon we were there, even though my camera was pointed firmly at my work and not people, I felt a weird vibe as soon as I set up my gear. It wasn't really anything to do with me. It was just a really bizarre coincidence. That was the afternoon the New York Knicks basketball team checked in. Yes, the New York Knicks. They were just 2 days away from their first NBA championship in 53 years. And, it wasn't just the players, coaches, management, communications team, VIPs, reporters, color commentators. They were all right there on the pool deck with us. But it was also like their wives, girlfriends, little kids, parents, grandparents. And it was so clear this was a weekend none of them would ever forget. I just didn't want them to have to worry about my intentions with my camera, so I put it away and just soaked in the excitement and joy. And frankly, I needed it because juggling all the extra painting stuff on top of filming gear was frankly a pain. There were 2 separate pools at this place, separated by a long flight of sun-drenched stairs. It was roughly 1,000,000 degrees Fahrenheit and as humid as a bowl of soup. And I was not loving schlepping my heavy backpack up and down while dodging afternoon rain and sweating through my clothes. So, with my freshly organized greens, I just painted this little postcard of a Texas summer day that will remind me of an incredibly exciting weekend spent with my daughters. And then I got home and fairly panicked about what to feed YouTube this week. So I decided to share with you my secret for making art when I'm feeling overwhelmed. Meet my book of lines. I'm using a Talens art creation sketchbook because it has very nice drawing paper and 80 spreads for around $16. But it could be any sketchbook. The purpose of this one, for me, is to make original art without getting overwhelmed with decisions or pressure. I do this by following a few easy principles. The first principle is black pen only. No agonizing over medium or color, no complicated setup, no choices to make. Just my favorite bold black pen, which is currently the Pigma Graphic 1mm. Sometimes I'll add the brush pen or a fine liner that came in the same set, but it's always black and really mostly just this one pen. The second principle is to start each spread with a single idea. Once I decide on the idea, everything else is just a free flowing, intuitive iteration on that idea. In this spread, the idea was to cover the page with a single, uninterrupted line without crossing itself. Often, the single idea is inspired by whatever I have in front of me. This one was just doodling some plants in my dad's backyard. This was inspired by 40-year-old upholstery fabric. The third principle is to embrace the imperfection of bold freehand work. There's no pre-sketching and no erasing. Sometimes I'll use a template to get started, but that's it. In this case, I used a roll of tape as a template to start the circles and a ruler to draw the first few lines and did the rest freehand. The final principle is to rate every filled spread a success. This isn't about skills or following any specific method or achieving any specific result. Some of these are complex and time-consuming, and some are just mindless flow. Some represent something I've seen, and some are pure vibe. Each doodle is just whatever I need it to be that day. To be clear, of course, this isn't new. I've been a doodler my entire life, in the margins of school papers, on the backs of envelopes, and during literally every phone call I've ever had. Anytime I needed to expel any measure of ADHD energy, I doodle. You probably do too, or did before the days of scrolling. Humans have doodled for tens of thousands of years. Having a dedicated sketchbook just gives me a nice place to do it. The pen provides a pleasant, unifying aesthetic, and calling it my book of lines provides implicit permission to spend time on it. I started this particular book in March while traveling, actually. It was my first trip after a back injury, and I was having trouble sleeping in a strange bed. So I'd get up very early and sit in whatever chair felt best and work in this book until my pain subsided. It means a lot to me to be able to make art when it's physically difficult to do much of anything. But it's also a really valuable mental health tool when I'm physically well. There is something about making imperfect lines with no real plan that connects my hands, brain, and eyes in a way that regulates my nervous system. At the risk of sounding poetic, living in this crazy moment in history inflicts tiny invisible wounds on us every day. My experience is that filling these pages helps to heal them. Just looking back on these pages reminds me of the peace I felt completing them. If you want to try it, and I hope you do, I'll link the sketchbook and pens I use in the description. But the magic is in the process, so use whatever feels good to you. You might have everything you need right now. And as for my travel painting kit, I have another trip coming up next month, and I simply won't be able to pack as much. Here's hoping I find time for a proper, not rushed session to get that kit right. Let me know if you'd like to watch that for real. Meanwhile, I have a bunch of big videos in the pipeline, and I'd love to hear what interests you most. Product reviews and comparisons, painting process videos, studio makeover, or would you like to watch me doodle some more? Let me know. Thanks, and like and subscribe for more content like this.
When I was young, I had it all planned out, that something big was down the road. I really thought I'd have it all by now, not be a failure if I don't. That's when you say, hey, my love, we're nowhere near the end. There'll come a day, I swear you ain't seen nothing yet. So I went down to the water and found my faith, because I don't wanna be stuck in the good old days. That's when you say, hey, I swear you ain't seen nothing yet. This life is heavy with an overload, like every door I see is shut. But when we're sinking to our deepest lows, we've got nowhere to go but up. That's when you say, hey, my love, we're nowhere near the end. There'll come a day, I swear you ain't seen nothing yet. So I went down to the water and found my faith, because I don't wanna be stuck in the good old days. That's when you say, I swear you ain't seen nothing yet. Oh, I went down to the water and found my faith, bowed my head for the blessings that come my way. There'll come a day, I swear you ain't seen nothing yet. So I went down to the water and found my faith, because I don't wanna be stuck in the good old